about to do this ranking the best consoles of all time on Tier Maker. I've never did like any of the lists before, so I always see people doing it and it seems fun. So hey man, I want to try it. Obviously S tier is like the best of the best, cream of the crop. A is really 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 good. B is good but not good enough. C is average. Y'all still might rock with it. D is like it ain't really worth playing, but maybe worth talking about for memorabilia or a little nostalgia. F is just like fail, flop, garbage, nada. I don't know if any of them would get it. Well, there is one or two that will get an F. And never played. I think there might be one or two that I have never played because it was just before my time or I just was never interested in it. So let's get it in. I'm just gonna go in the order of this. I'm not just gonna go S tier, S tier, S tier, A tier, A tier, A tier, A tier. The Xbox Series S is, I would definitely give it, I would give it an A. I wouldn't give it an S because it's like a stripped down version of the Xbox Series X. And to me, it's not that strong, It's cool, but it's a stripped down version because they dropped the pricing because they're just trying to get people accustomed to the system and all that. So it's an A tier. It's good. It's good for gaming and stuff like that, but it's just not as powerful. The graphics is not as strong. It does not have the same power structure as the X. The X is like is pretty up there. They're like supercomputers. They're very very strong, very very could hold games. They don't bug out like that. Each system and console is gonna have their problems and all that, but it is what it is. But it's pretty great. It's pretty good, not great. The next one is one of my favorite systems of all time. Not all time, but it's one of my favorite systems. I would say it's my favorite systems. The Sega Dreamcast was good. I grew up, playing it in the 90s. It had some really good games, Sonic Adventure, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, some very, 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 very like big games, but it just wasn't set up that well. The internet was just coming out, so the online playing thing wasn't that well done, and during that time, and the PlayStation 2 kind of like crushed it. Like everybody when the Dreamcast dropped, it was like, yo, this is the next level. Then PS2 came out and crushed it. I'm not gonna get into too much of the PS2 because we'll save that for when we get to it. But I would give the Dreamcast a B. It's kind of on the line of B and C because it kind of flopped, and that was like the last system that Sega did. But I'll give it a B because I still play it to this day. It's a very good system. I loved it. Sonic Adventure, Marvel vs. Capcom, other Street Fighter games. I'm like into fighting games, so a lot of Street Fighter games. Power Stone was a great game. So there's a lot of good games that came out of it. There's other games, but I wasn't really into other games. Crazy Taxi was okay. It's like an art. That's something you just pick up and whatever. That's not a game that I really take serious. Phantasy Star was good on it, but yeah, that's pretty much it. One of my favorite systems growing up in high school. It was the shit for real. The PSP. I'm gonna have to grade that real quick before I even talk about it. Man. I gotta give that shit an A. It's not S tier. It's close to S tier. But it just was, the problem I had with it is the analog stick. It would mess up the PSP fat and even the slim. I think all of them would kind of mess up, and it wouldn't work out to my favor and all of that. And I would always have to be trying to clean it, like get the those things that clean computers, the compressed air, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it wouldn't. Like my last PSP I had, like I don't even have it in like all together. I always had to take it apart and like take the analog stick and change it and stuff like that. And I had to. It was kind of a headache. But other than that, though, that was the only problem I had with it. But the games was fire. It was like where do you begin? Me and my friends used to play the City of Final Fantasy all the time. All sorts of PSP games, man. I can't really remember on the top of my tongue. Metal Gear Acid was cool. I'm into Metal Gear. Portable Ops. They had Street Fighter. Was Alpha 3? Was it Alpha 3? Max was pretty good. And what I used to do, I used to hack. I would hack my PSP and then hack my friend. Crazy story, because I always wanted to do that. I didn't know how to go about it, and this was like way before anything. Then they had something called like the Pandora battery, and I was like, man, I don't know if this shit's gonna work, bro. I used to do stupid shit as a kid and like destroy my systems to modify them. So I would, get into stuff like that. I was kind of very, 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 very on like the hacking nerdy scene. Now I'm a musician. You hear these songs in the background. These are actually my songs. But like, I was really into that. I was really into some really, really techie stuff. But yeah, I hacked I had the Pandora battery. Opened the battery up, and there was like a little chip that you had to like disconnect. I disconnected it, and then bam, and I put it in. I was like, oh shit, I broke it. And I thought because the screen was just black, and then these words came up in it. So I was like, oh shit, I got it. I hacked it, you know what I mean? So then we had this. I had mad games. I had like PS1 games, Super Nintendo games, regular Nintendo, Sega Genesis. It was like crazy. Arcade games, Atari, like everything that could handle and support it. But it had some really good games. What else did it have? I think there was a Gran Turismo 4. I didn't really like it that much. Then I had a Need for Speed game. Need for Speed, I think it was like Most Wanted, 510. I can't remember every single game. But there was really a lot of good games though. Dragon Ball Z Budokai, stuff like that. Madden, yeah, I used to play Madden. I think they had like NBA 2K, but it was like I didn't like it at all. But I had Madden, NBA Live. No, NBA Live was fire on it. But there was a lot of PSP games. It was very good. It almost felt like a portable PS2. It was very close to PS2, but not quite. It was like high definition PlayStation 1, I would call it. But it was there was so much good games for it. I literally it's like it would be another video to talk about PSP games, man, because it was good. And then you could watch movies, play music on it. It had a little internet capability, but you couldn't really like watch YouTube like that. Well, they did have a modified version if you hacked your PSP, but that's about it. But it was a pretty cool system. I can't lie, Next one up is the Xbox 360. That, my friend, I would give that a B. I would give the Xbox 360 a B. The reason why, the games were good, but the red rings of death. It happened to me twice, bro. And then my brother got an Xbox, and it happened to his Xbox. So we had to. They just kept messing up, overeating problems. That's what kind of killed the vibe. But very memorable. I remember playing like Gears with my friends. Gears, even though I don't play Gears of War anymore, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. I think Epic made it. Gears of War, top tier game. Halo. I wasn't really good at Halo, but my friends would play it. So I still play Halo from time to time. In fact, I need to be playing Halo Infinite because I actually like that game. Playing what's the headshots only called? Tactical Team. Well, that's a 360. A lot of good games. I remember they had me and my dad used to play this game called Table Tennis. I can't remember, it's by Rockstar. And so it had really really good games, and Xbox Live was really really good. I think they had the best like online service in comparison to like, PS3 and stuff like that. It was good. It was fast, and it was a real good community. I felt the 360 really built the Xbox community, and glue everything together. It was very, very good. The graphics was ahead of its time. It played DVDs. I think HD DVD. I'm not sure if it played Blu-ray. I don't think so. Maybe not the first batch, the first Xbox 360, but yeah, it was a pretty good system. Next up, Game Boy SP. What would I give that? I I would give it an S. The reason I would give that Game Boy SP an S, I would give really the whole Game Boy Advance, but I'll say the SP was better than the Advance. Reason being that it came with a backlight. You didn't have to get like an external thing for the backlight. That's why the Game Boy Advance was good, very good, but I felt they could have put a backlight. But you know, these companies try to get as much money off of you, you know, so it could have been just things become expensive and all that, and that's probably what the problem was. You know, but it was very good. You know, one of my favorite games was Sonic Advance. Very fire game. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite. I had Dragon Ball Z, Super Sonic Warriors. I had like a Wario game. I don't remember what it was really called. I didn't have a lot because I was like young. So some games I traded back because I was so young that I couldn't beat them. Like Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. I still haven't beaten that game. I could not beat it. It was like the first part, bro. I was very young, so I couldn't really beat it. And I was just getting mad. I had, what else I had? Oh, I had Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which was a pretty good game. And you know, it was pretty fire, man. It was pretty fire.
Next, I believe that is a DS Lite. Is there a DS here? DS, is there? There's like a couple of DSs.
Yeah, I think that's okay. That's a DS. I will label that as Nintendo DS. If there's like a light that pops up, then I would just like maybe disregard it. I would say the DS. I would put a B tier for a couple of reasons. One, the PSP's graphics was way better. Like the graphics was way better on the PSP. The DS was like, it was like Nintendo 64. It was like, I would say it was Nintendo 64 PS1. Like this, no higher than that. Like no upscaling to it. There was some certain games were good. The Mario Kart was good. There were some good looking games, but the graphics wasn't there. But I feel Nintendo is a company. It's not really all about graphics. It's about fun. And it was very, one game that they got a lot of audience was Nintendogs. I never played it because I'm just not into that type of shit. You understand? But Nintendogs was really fire and all that. To that certain audience, I had Mario Kart. The first time I beat Mario 64 was not actually Mario 64. It was the Mario 64 the DS version. It was very fire. But you could I think they let you beat it with like multiple characters with Yoshi and I think Wario was in it, Luigi, and of course Mario. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was a different concept. The reason I like Nintendo so much is because they concept is so far out. It's like a double screen with a touchpad, and it did some sort of online play. It's not like wasn't community based, but you could face people online. Very beautiful. It was a very beautiful, very nice, sleek. I didn't really like the original shape because it was so huge. It wasn't huge, but it was huge. Versus like the DS Lite. It was pretty cool, in my opinion. Next, Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis. Where would I put that? I would put that A tier. It's a classic, but it's not my favorite. But it's a classic. Sonic. I'm a huge Sonic head. I love Sonic games. I play Sonic games, not a lot, but I play them. Throughout the year and all that. Obviously the Super Nintendo had shared like similar games like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. They say the Sega was more powerful, but I feel they were like neck and neck. I feel it was just it was almost the same thing, but it was, that's what I had first as a child, and it was, it was amazing. The games that was like, I don't think they had some exclusives, but it wasn't like that powerful in comparison to the Super Nintendo. I think it was just like standard. I remember playing Sonic, Echo, Dolphin, and stuff of that nature. The third-party games that was also on Super Nintendo, so that's not going to give it no advantage, but it's very good. I feel the console looks better. The console looks better than the Super Nintendo. Design-wise, it's very like aerodynamic and very has like a nice look. It looks kind of like it was made by like a jet or something, like some futuristic stuff. It actually looked like it was made for the future. While Super Nintendo was kind of boxy. The Japanese version of Super Nintendo looks better though, but it looks kind of, it was boxy. This one looks a little bit more sleek, so it sold a lot of people. Now, S tier. I would give the PS2 S tier. That's S tier. I would really give it to the PS2 Slim, but it's like, it's just a slimmer version. I would just give like, that's the natural PS2, so I would just give it the S tier. One, the graphics on the game changed massively. It was, getting into, it wasn't really high definition, but it was, real true 3D graphics, real, the gameplay was very good, how the games was controlled, the double analog stick. Well, the double analog stick came in the PS1, but it really used its true function in the PS2, I believe, when it comes to like certain shooting games, driving games. The graphics was good. Gran Turismo 3 was good. I used to play, Capcom vs SNK 2, which fighting games was good. Street Fighter EX3 was on it. It was like 3D, but it was like kind of slow. Was it? They they couldn't figure it out all at once. For as far as 3D fighting games for Street Fighter, but Tekken, Fire, Mortal Kombat, so much good Mortal Kombat games. My favorite one was Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, which they should bring more of that. I don't know why they have not brought more of that, but pretty good. And obviously the option to turn it to a DVD, a lot of people, that's how they sold a lot of people. Great marketing move. You can watch DVDs that brought families wanting to have a PS2. So it's really, it was a very beautiful console. It was a little boxy, the original one, but it was cool. It was cool. It felt like it was from the future. It really felt like it was next level. And the graphics, not all the graphics hold up, but a lot of the graphics hold up to this day, for the most part. And it was a beautiful, it was a time to be alive, man. Beautiful time, PS2 Slim, I'll just give it a, this is really a duplicate, so I'll just give it an A. It was it was an improvement. It should be really B, but I'll give it an A because it's the PS2, But this is really just a duplicate, it's the same system. Xbox. I would give the Xbox. I would give it a B. The reason I'll give, to me, I feel it was more powerful than the PS2 informed as in terms of gameplay. Like Halo was pretty intense, but I felt like the online wasn't really together yet. The online wasn't really all that done that well. It was just, it was just getting started, but it was good. One thing I did not like when you were trying to watch movies on it, you had to get this DVD remote thing. They had to they were charging you to do that, while the PS2 you can just throw a movie in there with the regular controller. So that's what was kind of bad, but the games was cool. The graphics was good. It was a good system. You understand? It was very, very, very well done. The negative to me was it was so big, bro. It was like humongous. Like I know they, the PS5 was like the biggest system to this day, but back then that shit was huge, big as hell, bro. You understand? Very, 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 very huge, man. But it was good for the Xbox first system. That's their first time, They did, for them to even be fighting to this day, people don't understand how competitive creating a system is. It's very competitive. It's not an easy thing, you understand? And it's expensive to create these systems because there's literally a computer and they're selling it for less than a computer. You understand? They have to do a lot of hustling to like really make profit. The Nintendo Wii, I'll give that S tier. You understand? I'm not a Nintendo fanboy. The reason why is it's very, like I said, Nintendo, like, they probably gonna get a lot of S tiers from me because they're very innovative. Because like, I'm not just like, okay, we're playing the same thing over and over and over. They're always doing something different. They're not trying to stay in the same lane. Oh, we're here. Oh, we're here. Oh, we're here. We're here. You understand? They're not scared to fail. You understand? They're not scared to fail at all. You understand? So I feel like it belongs there. The motion controls, that was something new. I mean, PS3 had the motion controls, but it wasn't really. It wasn't like the Nintendo Wii. It's like, yo, we're removing like no more remotes. We're going like we're nunchucking it. You understand? So that's I actually have my Wii downstairs. I should have brought it up here, but we're nunchucking it. That very different. It's like you're playing with a TV remote. At first I thought it was gonna fail, but it was pretty big. I'm not gonna front. The Wii U, I've never played it. I was kind of like working on music a lot at that time when it dropped, so I've never played it. I know of it. I know what it's about. I know it kind of flopped, so I'm not even gonna put it. I'm just gonna put it never played. I've never got into it. I need to pick one up. I just want to see what it's like, but it was kind of like the prototype of the Switch from what I've heard and from what I've seen. The PS4, I would say it's A. The reason is like it didn't do nothing crazy. The graphics, increasing graphics from the PS3. It's nothing special. This is good graphics, powerful system, good graphics. I enjoyed it. It's pretty fire, but nothing out of the ordinary. But it's a very, 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 very good system. People still use it to this day. It still stands to this day, so that's why it gets that A. You understand? Nothing under that. If it did something innovative, S tier, it'll be there. But it got a little innovation, but nothing crazy that makes me go, oh my gosh. You understand? The Nintendo Switch. That, my friend, is S tier. This is my favorite system of all time, man. Favorite system. Got it right here, man. Favorite system, man. This is literally my favorite system of all time. You understand? Nothing like this system. You understand? The reason is, one, it's portable. It's sleek. And it's portable. The graphics ain't crazy. Like comparison to the PS4 and the Xbox One when they kind of released at the same time. The graphics ain't crazy, but it's fun. The remotes move apart. You understand? And you can just play. You can split the remote up with somebody else. That's so innovative. That's some next level. You understand? The Switch is like, it's fire. The games are good. The game, like, I'm not gonna front. I spent so much unnecessary money that I shouldn't have spent on the eShop. That's how you know the system is good. Because most systems don't make me spend money. Like, I don't buy a lot of games on the other system. The Switch, I think I got like 40 games, bro. Like, I don't even play them. I just have them. I don't play them I only play like 5-7 games. You understand? Smash and like Mario Kart and I play NBA 2K on it and Zelda and stuff like that. The mainline ones. But it's just so innovative. You know, they got little applications, they got Hulu and stuff like that. That doesn't make it a good, you know, that's just some extra stuff. But for straight gaming, it's fun. The only downfall of the Switch is the online service being you can't communicate with people. Like you gotta use a phone app. That's unnecessary to me. That's the only reason I think it's at that level, you know. But it's a phenomenal system. You know, I think it's gonna be the number one selling console of all time. You know, it's heading there. It's number 3. It's gonna surpass that. They keep coming with innovation. Very by the Nintendo company, very well done. Very well done, you know? The Xbox Series X, I was thinking giving the S tier, but I would say I'll give it an A. Reason, there's not a lot of exclusive games that make me go, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Oh, I gotta have, it's just good, it's just very powerful. It's just like to me, it's like a hyped up Xbox One. It's just hyped up, you understand? It's no really, in fact, a lot of the games you can play on the Xbox One, you know, the graphics, it's an improvement, but it's not a massive thing. It's like, whoa, I feel graphics in games have reached its peak. I think right now, the only thing that could be done is like, yo, you gotta make the games fun. You understand? I don't think it's, you know, necessary to go even further than what it's going. All I think you can just make it more fun, maybe a little more realism in a sense, but you know, I think it's a good system. You know, I think it's just an upgrade from the Xbox One. You know, so that's what that is. The Atari. All right, I'm gonna tell you this. I'll give it C. I'll give it a B. The reason why I say it deserves a B is because it kind of like it kind of held the gaming industry up for a little bit. But the reason I want to give it a C because it kind of was also the fall of the gaming. You know, I'm just giving it a B because it's kind of like a staple of video games. It's kind of like where we came from in video games. But it's like it really deserves a C. But I'll give it a B just to, you know, be nice. You know, some of the games were fun. You know, I think they had like Pac-Man and like the more, you know, early popular games. Is it Galaga? The spaceship shooting thing and whatnot. You know, it was a very good system. You know, in its time. But then they started bringing, you know, what game that destroyed it? Like E.T. That game was garbage, and a whole bunch of other garbage. You know, I forgot the term they used, like when they like, oh yeah, shovel. It was pretty much shovelware, mad shovelware. You know, it's the Xbox 360. I'm gonna put it alongside the other Xbox. I'm not gonna go into it because we already talked about it. The Game Boy, the original Game Boy, I would give it. It's between a C and a B. It's dangerous. I'll give it a C. Because it was good for its time, but it's black and white graphics, bro. It's like a green screen, bro. And, you know, it required like four batteries, and it was just fat. The design was horrible, but it introduced people into mobile gaming. You know what I'm saying? Handheld gaming. You know, it wasn't really as powerful as the Game Gear. The Game Gear was powerful, but the batteries, that shit ate up batteries like a motherfucker. You know. Now, what is this? The Game Boy Color now. You know, going back to the Game Boy, you know, I haven't played much games on it because it's before my time. But like, I played like RoboCop and like some Mario and I think like a Mortal Kombat game. It was cool. It was alright. It was kind of like a portable Super Nintendo with a low minimal resolution screen.
with like cheaper graphics, so it was cool.
you know. But I didn't play it that long enough. You know what I'm saying? The Game Boy Color, that was I had like a red Game Boy Color. That was my first handheld, and I would say that's A. That was A.
It was so dope. It was pretty cool. You know, Pokemon was like Pokemon popped off on color. You know, it was a sensation, bro. It was like you had to have it. You know, with Pokemon. You know, so it was a really good vibe. You know, it was very cool. You know, I very enjoyed it. I traded my Game Boy Color to get a Game Boy Advance. You know, then my Advance to an SP. And I don't know what happened to my SP. I think I gave it away to somebody. And then the next off is Game Boy Color. No. Game Boy Color. We just did that. It looks like Sega Game Gear. I never owned one, and I seen people play it, and I would give it a B. I would put it over the Game Boy because the Game Gear, like the graphics, it was literally like the Sega Genesis. Because you know the graphics was really decent for it, but it ended up bad because a lot of power back then. It was a whole lot of power back then. You know, it was very, 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 very powerful then, but it was, you know, it didn't do as well. I think their marketing wasn't that fire, and it just didn't really last that long. You know, they were trying to compete with Nintendo, so it was better than Game Boy. I don't know exactly if they came at the same time, but from what I was aware of, like, it to me it was better than the Game Boy. I could be wrong, so I'm judging. Game Boy Advance, I would give that an A below the SP because the backlight. You have to get an accessory for that. Complete garbage, dog. Complete garbage. They did that. You know, to me that was not right. You know, but the game revolutionized. You know, handheld gaming. You know, pretty much was like a portable Super Nintendo with color, and you know, a little bit better than Super Nintendo, I would say. You know, the PS. Next off, it was very, very, very good system. You know, I wish I still had my Game Boy Advance. You know, but hey, you got Nintendo Switch Online service, and hopefully they add more games. But Metroid Fusion, pretty fire, and that's my first time playing that. Pretty fire, but yeah, the PSP Go. I've never had it. I've seen it, so I'll give it a B. Because it's pretty much a PSP, but it's a little bit more sleeker. But I don't think it plays. I don't think it plays the UMDs. I think it's only digital only. So in fact, it's a sleek design. I think it was a sleek design, but I don't think it was necessary. So I'll give it a C. It's just nostalgic, you know. It's nothing crazy. Now, the PS Vita, that is B. The reason why it's not A, I wouldn't give it S tier. It was a very good system, but still got mine to this day. You know, it's still here. Very good system. Still got batteries in it? Or is it charged? Nope, not charged. You know me. But yeah, it was a very good system. The graphics was pretty good. You know, it was really like upper PS2 to like basic PS3. Like very, very, very basic PS3. Very good system. If you modify it, it's a really good system. It can play like Sega Dreamcast emulators and stuff like that and stuff of that nature. The memory card was like expensive, bro. I'm like, are you serious? You know, I mean, I have like this modification thing that I could play it without, you know, buying their memory. Their memory cards were expensive. They're, you know, like I said, when people make a system, a lot of times they don't make profit off of the system. Only like Nintendo does, because they just have a good fan base. The most systems they don't make no profit, so they're trying to make money off of it. You understand? So that's just what it is. But it is what it is. They're trying to make up for any type of loss, but it kind of flopped. But to me, it was a good system. It was to me. I never played it 3DS, but I've seen people have it, so I can't say much on it. But to me, it was a top system. Sega Saturn, I put it in nostalgia. I never had it, but I had cousins that had it. It was cool. It had some like Virtual Fighter, and it was like a Sonic game, but it's kind of ass. It wasn't really all that. To me, it wasn't all that. It wasn't done that well. I guess they were trying to compete with the PS1, Nintendo 64. It just barely fit in. It was alright. The Game Boy Pocket, pretty much a Game Boy with smaller. It was pretty cool. My friends had it. I never owned one. My friends had it. It was cool. It was nice, but it was kind of average, to me, the PS5. I'll give it an S tier because I feel the graphics are good. The graphics are the same. How the remote is, the feeling of the remote, the rumbling in the remote is really good. I don't own a PS5, but my cousin had when I was chilling with him and I was playing with it, playing it, and it's a very good system. The only thing is they have some good exclusive games, the Spider-Man games, obviously Sony, they have some rights to it. I think that's what really grabbed me. I think the Spider-Man game was very good. The graphics on Gran Turismo is really good. I'm not a fan of Gran Turismo games like that, but it's pretty good. In my opinion. The Xbox Series X is just, the graphics is good on that too, but it's like there's no exclusives. Like the PS5 has plenty of exclusives. It's kind of powerful. You can kind of like go in between games and stuff like that, which is pretty good. It's well done. The sound is pretty dope. It's still early. They need obviously more games coming in, but I would say to me it's between an A and an S. But it surprises me. You understand? The only thing is like the system is huge. That's the only takeaway. But the experience, the gameplay experience, is pretty good. Also, their VR, is pretty. I think it's a cool concept, and I'm not into VR like that. But it's It's a well made machine, man. I'll tell you that. PS1, S tier, man. S tier, man. Revolutionized, man. 3D graphics. Sony's always trying to push something forward, do something extra. It's not really something amazing, but you can play music on the audio CDs, and I think they were the first to incorporate memory cards. To me that was pretty cool. They weren't the first to do CDs, but they were the first to do CDs right. And it gave a lot of developers room to actually create games properly for it and whatnot. Classic games, Final Fantasy, Crash Bandicoot, a whole lot of top games. You can't forget the best game of all time, Metal Gear Solid. It's definitely fire. I should do like a tier of like the best Metal Gear Solid, because that would probably be really short. But I would probably do like a top 5 or something like that. But yeah, very, very top tier gaming, man. So much memories on the PS1. The first Gran Turismo 1 and 2, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Tekken 2 and 3. There's only 2 and 3 on the yeah. Very fire game. I liked it a bit more. I played Nintendo 64 more because my PS1, the games kept getting scratched and it wouldn't work. So I played the 64 more because they're cartridge based, which was the funny thing is cartridge based has a better life shelf because especially when you're a kid, you don't care about the disc. You're not taking care of the disc that much. But yeah, that's what it is. The GameCube, I would give that. I'll give it an A. Like I said, Nintendo is gonna get the highest scores because innovation. You know, it was, you know, the games were really good. Smash, was it Melee? Yeah, Smash Melee, Fire, Party. Nintendo's a very good party system. Like, they hold companies about fun and stuff like that, family and stuff like that, no matter your age. You know, one of my favorite games was Star Fox Adventures, which is probably not everybody's favorite game, but it was one of mine. Even though it was a different aspect of Star Fox, I think it came out with another one, Star Fox Assault. I never played that. You know, I had like Def Jam 5 from New York. Yeah, it had some really good games. Metroid, but I think I sold it because I was young and I couldn't beat it. I had a good amount of, what else I had for GameCube? Oh, Super Mario Sunshine, fire game, fire. You understand? You know, Mario games is always fire. Mario Party, Super Monkey Ball. I didn't have it, my friends did. It was pretty cool. Pikmin was. I've never liked Pikmin. That's just a weird game to me. It's honestly, people like it, but it's so weird. I've never understood it. I didn't really, get it that much. But yeah, it was very good. The only thing is like the Xbox and the PS2 could play DVDs, but like Nintendo was like, nah, we want you playing games. We don't care about that extra movie stuff. Like, get out of here. And no online, not even an attempt to do online play. They just tried to keep it play a game. So now, but it's one of my favorite systems. I used to have one when I left, I used to live before I left to New York to pursue a music career and stuff like that, and it's just not the, I don't know what my parents did with it. Where did they put it? I don't know if they gave it to like one of my relatives and made them go back to Jamaica with it. Don't know what happened to it. It's just, it's gone. But yeah, so it's one of my favorite systems. I also had this other game called Poltergeist. Fun. I had got it like when Blockbuster was the thing they were selling games. It was like, I got it for the low. Fun game, but that's pretty much it for the GameCube. I didn't have a lot of games because my parents were just like, I was always in trouble. That's what it is. I was always in trouble, so I couldn't get a lot of games. I couldn't even play a lot of games. So when I'm became an adult, I'm like a heavy ass gamer now. But yeah. The NES, never owned one because it was before my time in the 80s. I was born in the 90s. I'll give it a B. I was gonna give it a C, but I'll give it a B because it's saved. No, I'll give it an A. Cause it saved the gaming industry. It made gaming fun again. I'm not gonna give it an S because something else is gonna take its spot. You understand? But it was, it was good. I remember my grandma, she had one in her house for some reason, and they would have these games, and there was like it was like a Star Wars game and some Mario games and some other stuff. I never got into it, but one of my favorite games on it is like the Mario games, and that I don't know. I need to go find a Star Wars game and like play like on a ROM. I mean, too bad like Nintendo Switch doesn't have it because it's probably licensing issues on their online service. But it's pretty fire. So, but yeah, it was a good system. Duck Hunt, I did play Duck Hunt. It's cool. That's crazy. That's its highest selling game on the system, I believe. But it was very, very, very if it wasn't for that, the gaming industry probably would have crashed. No, somebody probably would have came with an idea, but they saved it. So Nintendo did, man. Nintendo's amazing. But my favorite system of them all is the Super Nintendo. Like, all these systems are good. What's my favorite? I always play a Super Nintendo. I don't own one, but I play on emulators or the Nintendo Switch Online. It is one of my favorite because why? My two favorite games, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, it was home to that. That's why I first played them on. So very, 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 very beautiful times. Mario games is obviously fun. They had Mario Kart, very fun, very fun. It really took over the industry and really gave gaming like a world instead of just like, oh, we're just wasting time. It really gave gaming a world, and then introducing like things like Nintendo Power and for advertising, and it just really created a world. Star Fox and all that. I think did Star Fox make it on this? Yeah, I think so. Star Fox was pretty good. I think Street Fighter Alpha first came to it, but you had to have like some extra connection to make it work. But pushed it to its limit. But it was a very good system. Hey man, I'll play that. I'll play Super Nintendo to this day. One game that I wish I would have played on the Super Nintendo when it came out was like Metroid. I played it like after the first time I played Metroid, like the regular Metroid, was when the Switch came out, which is crazy. I played Metroid Prime in the GameCube, but the first time I played Super Metroid was on the Switch. It's just that I wasn't too much into gaming when I was like 5 years old, like when I first saw Super Nintendo. Not until like the 64 and PS1, but yeah, one of the best systems of all time. So much memory, so much, a lot of games copied. Castlevania I think came from the Super Nintendo. A lot of, I think it came from the regular Nintendo, but it was popular on Super Nintendo. Very, 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 very good system. Beautiful system. So much memories, man. I feel like going get one right now and play it, or hopping on the Switch and play it. But yeah, definitely S tier for sure, man. Everybody would say that's the top system, man. Even in the Biggie ROM, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I was so dead broke I couldn't picture this. It's everywhere, man. Super Nintendo World. It's a theme park. The Super Nintendo World or Super Mario? Yeah, Super Nintendo. No, I think it's Super Nintendo World. I don't remember. I think so. The PS1. I had one, but I tried to hack it and I broke it. But then it had a screen. That I thought when I saw that was dope as hell. Like so you can play a PS1 without a TV. That's pretty cool. But I put it A tier because I already gave the PS1 S tier. It's literally the same thing, just a duplicate improvement. Nintendo 64. I like it more than the PS1, but I'll give it an A tier because I think the PS1 was a better experience. The Nintendo 64 was technically a little bit more powerful. You know what I'm saying? But the PS1, the graphics were kind of blocky on the PS1, while the 64 was a little bit smooth. But I like the gaming experience on the PS1 a tad bit better. There were certain games that that the PS1 have. Also, I forgot to mention, Battle Arena Toshinden was one of my favorite games. This fighting games and stuff like that. But I felt like the PS1 was like more made for mature gaming audience, while the 64 was made for like the younger generation. Like the Mario, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart. It was really more family fun. And I like the remote for the PS1 a little bit better. I never really liked the 64 remote. I'm not saying anything wrong with it. It was just like, it was just different. It just wasn't for me. The PS3. I would say the PS3's A. Yeah, high definition graphics. The graphics was good. The remote, I love the remote and stuff like that. It was definitely fire. Metal Gear Solid 4 was pretty amazing. Sports games was really looking a bit better, a little bit more detailed. Blu-ray movies and all that. It was a time to be alive. A lot of fun times, and you could do a lot of multimedia stuff with it. Put in movies. Did they have apps early? I know they have apps on it now, but I don't know if streaming apps wasn't like popping back then, was it? Nah, it was just starting out. But a lot of good games. I think Last of Us started on the PS3, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't have a lot of PS3. What is the game called again? Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That was the game. That's all we played. I didn't have this version of the PS3. I had the Slim, which is also on the thing, but I'll put it up there when we're at it. you know, very, very, very fun games. And I actually did modify my PS3 back then. Then I unhacked it because you couldn't play online, and then, you know, I hacked it again. You know, I still actually got it. It's right here. It's not even hooked up. Yeah, I was streaming it on my retro channel the other day, so, you know, still got the PS3, but it's a slim version. You know what I mean? Still fun. Thing on it, what I have on it is like Need for Speed, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. I was playing that the other day, but and like kind of like PS2 retro games and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it, you know. But yeah, man, definitely, you know, introducing Blu-ray to us. Sony's always trying to introduce something new, but I feel like Nintendo always trying to introduce something completely innovative and different. But they always try to give you some extra. You know, Sony is not a joking company. Sony's a serious company, you know. But yeah, you know, the graphics was really good. I felt the graphics was a little bit better than the Xbox. But also, I felt like it was a little bit more stable than the Xbox. The Xbox was known to overheat. The PS3 did overheat too. Don't get it twisted. They're all computers. Computers can overheat. You understand? You know, sometimes there's manufacturing mistakes and all that, but it was a very good, very, very good system. I think it's the Xbox 360 Elite. I'm putting it in the same boat. It's really a duplicate. The Slim, I'll put it A. It's the same thing but slim. But I like this. The Fat was like extremely. I would give the Fat a B, but it's like it was still a good system. You know, I didn't have the Fat. I had the Slim. You know, the Slim was you know, a bit better for me. More hard drive space, slimmer. Oh yeah, the original PS3 remote, was it like huge or was it regular? No, I'm tripping. It was the same thing. I remember there was like a prototype of the PS. It was like this big remote, you know what I mean? Like I saw it in like a Game Informer magazine way back in the day, but nah, it's actually good. You know, I think this is like Xbox Kinect. I know what it is, and I never got into it. You know, I've never owned one. It's some weird shit, man. Like I understand what they were trying to do. It was something innovative they were trying to do that people use to this day. But to me, that shit was kind of like Xbox Kinect. I would say I'll give it a D. It's not horrible, but it's like, bro, like this is a Nintendo 2DS and 3DS. Never owned one, never played one. I've seen people play it. I'm just gonna put it never played. So I can't really give you my opinion on it that much. If it's just by just seeing people in their videos playing it. So now this is that Nintendo Virtual Console shit. This is the F, bro. Forget that shit is ever created. Forget that shit was ever created. That shit was hot garbage, bro. I think it was like all red. I mean, it's the first virtual reality, you know, VR system, whatever. But it was like you can't hurt them from trying, bro. They be really. I wonder what all the shit that Nintendo be trying that doesn't make it to like the mainstream. That I would always want to see what their ideas is. Yeah, I would love to go to like their facility and be like, yo, their failed ideas, all this didn't make it out, cause they be thinking of some crazy shit. Like they just be like thinking of shit all day, you understand? But yeah, it was garbage. I've never had it, but I know a lot about it, and I know that without even though I never played it, I know about that shit, cause that shit failed, flopped. That shit was garbage. That was the biggest flop for Nintendo in my opinion, aside from that first Mario movie. The new Mario movie though, that shit is fire, bro. Congrats, that shit made over 600 million. You know what I mean? But going next is, I believe that's an Xbox One. It looks like an Xbox One. I would put that memorable, because I'll give that an A because it's good, but it ain't game changing. The S tier is only for like game changing, bro. It gotta be game changing. Like Switch game changing, PS5. I feel it's game changing from whatever I've experienced. You know, sound and video wise, the PS5 is crazy. Super Nintendo game changing, PS1 game changing. That's game changing. You know, I give it an A because the Xbox One the graphics was definitely better, you know, but it wasn't like something like, yo, this is crazy. Like I'm gonna buy 20, like, bro, I have like 40 Switch games, bro, and I feel like buying 6 more, bro. And I shouldn't be buying them. You know what I'm saying? I be buying them and don't play them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a system that makes you want to have the game, bro. It makes you want to collect. You know what I'm saying? But the Xbox One is like, it was fire. I still use it to this day. You know, they incorporate a lot of things. Game Pass, which was very innovative for somebody like me, because I don't like to spend a whole lot of money on games. Like to get like games that are fresh, like, you know, EA games and Halo. You know, they giving that shit up for free. You know, they have these little, sometimes they throw in these little independently made games, from indie companies and whatnot. Definitely a fire system. You know, they got applications, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, and who knows what else. You know, it's still, people still use it to this day. Xbox Live, better than it's ever been. You understand? And going with the, you know, Series X is obviously even better, but I think it's the best online experience. You know, yeah, you gotta pay, but hey man, it's the best online experience probably ever. You know, that's one thing about Microsoft, their online experience, because they, you know, they have a large experience with the computers. They kind of like built this computer world that we live in a sense. Not all the way, but most of it. You know, so it's definitely memorable. Still plays today, but to me, it's not S tier. It's not game changer. It's not just like, it's just not different like that. Nintendo, the reason why mostly is like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 Nintendos. You know, to me, they're game changing. I don't feel like Xbox was ever game changing. I just feel like Xbox was just very powerful and very good at marketing and made very good games. But it wasn't like game changing. They never really risked it all or did a big risk. You understand? While Sony and Nintendo are risk takers. You understand? That's just my opinion. But yeah, man, this is my list, man. But definitely, out of all these systems, the Nintendo Switch is my favorite. But how Switch became great because Nintendo just kept risking, kept trying things. In life, you gotta always try things and do things, man. You can't just be staying the same. And that's why they're the top company. Nintendo Switch is gonna be the top selling system. I'm telling you, they're gonna hit number 1. You know what I mean? But it's my favorite system. You got retro games, you got good looking games, you got good games from third parties, sports games. The only thing, they don't have like Madden, but like Madden ain't as big as what it used to be. It's kind of like, it kind of fell to the wayside. You understand? So, you know, they got FIFA and the sports games and stuff like that, but they, you know, a lot of fun Mario games, car games, Need for Speed. The only thing, they don't have no real good shooter. Doom is cool, but it's like, there's no online play. You know, they got Fortnite, but Fortnite's everywhere. Splatoon's cool. It's a big game. You know, Zelda, like, it really showed a different world. It's portable. The best system, I would say, you understand? And the graphics are pretty good for what it is, for what it could do. And the only thing I would say is the battery life could be better, but it's kind of powerful, man. It's a really good system. I'll say it's the best video game system of all time, without a doubt. It's just like the numbers don't lie. You understand? You know, it's actually amazing. As simple as it is, it's actually amazing. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's my list, man. If you want to hate me for it, hate me. If you want to love me for it, hey, man. You know, put the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And, you know, if you agree, I piss you off. You know what I mean? Just showing my love for consoles and stuff like that. I really love consoles. I love video games. I even want to create a video game, but that's a lot of hard work and that requires a whole lot of money. But I will do it. I will gain the money to do that. You know, I have a lot of ideas, but for right now, I'm just chilling, playing games and creating my music and all that. So I'm out, man. Appreciate anybody that watched this stream and all that. So I'm out. Let me know. Hit me up. I'm out.